Can you describe a little bit the periodization of recovery? Because that kind of is, in line with like the things like when I saw that curve, and then I was like, well, bones don't remodel like tendons remodel, like ligaments remodel, like muscle remodels, like fascia remodels, like skin remodels. Like they all have their own steps, right? So, can you talk a little bit about periodizing recovery?
So, periodization of recovery is referring to the idea of recovery methods being used at different times.
Okay.
So call it more programming of recovery methods, but the idea, and I know Greg Hoff talks about this in his book, his recent periodization book. But one of the things that you have to do is you have to treat any recovery method as a stimulus because you're still changing something within the body in an attempt to get it back to equilibrium. However, it is still a stress to the body, just differently. So if we take the squeezy pants, pneumatic compression pants, that is going to add a certain stimulus to your. The idea is that we're trying to add additional blood flow and ideally getting things into the lymph system so it can be excreted and blah blah blah. But the idea is we cannot use the same method of recovery all the time because it's like any other training method. If I were to use foam rolling every single time, it'd be like if I'm going to squat every single session, right? So I can't use the same method all the time because I know that it's going to recover a certain, in theory, again, it's going to help me recover a certain amount, but it's recovering from that workout to get me back to whatever stage I'm going to be at for my next workout. But the following workout, my battery may not necessarily be at 100%. But if I use the same method, if that didn't get me back to 100%, now I'm even lower. So, then I may need to use something else in order to modify that. So it happens over the course of the entire season or the training year that I need to introduce or add or remove certain methods of recovery so that my body can actually adapt the way that I want it to adapt. An example would be when it comes to hypertrophy and higher volumes of training, I may actually remove methods of recovery so that the body can actually go through the process of building the muscle architectural adaptations that I want. Versus in season, when I'm trying to maximize my performance, I need every method that I can get that will allow me to be at my peak when possible.